I was stunned by something I saw yesterday. It was a comment, and I'll show you it, by the head of the Australian Communications and Media Authority. Now, you've probably never heard of this authority. It's called ACMA for short. But honestly, be warned, because it already pleases what I say here on TV, what we all say here on TV. And now the Albanese government wants to give this body massive new powers over you. And let's share the pain here. It's over what you can post online or on Facebook or Twitter or on Instagram or YouTube or whatever. Now, we've talked about this before. It's the government's misinformation bill. Now, if it gets passed, ACMA can go to internet platforms, like Meta and all that, and say, what are you doing about this misinformation, or what it thinks is misinformation? Facebook or Twitter and the rest of them don't jump, bang, they could face fines of potentially billions of dollars. Now, that's the scenario, that's the background. To this video I want to show you, Facebook's owner, Meta, has already told this government committee looking into this, hey, this could really chill free speech. No kidding, Sherlock. But the head of ACMA, that's going to be this incredibly powerful policeman of your speech, yesterday told the same committee, I don't quite get this. Why would me waving a really big stick at these internet giants, about censorship, making them censor misinformation, why would that hurt anyone's free speech? I don't know. Have a look.
So I think they're very valid concerns that they've raised. I'm not quite sure I understand their reasoning behind. I can see that they may self-censor. I'm not quite sure I see the reasoning behind their statement, but that's what they've said.
Joining me is the panel, Victorian Liberal MP Renee Heath and Justin Quill, the top, and I mean very top, defamation lawyer from major law firm Thompson Gear. I'll start with you because this is right up your alley. Should we be really scared when the head of a body meant to police our policing doesn't understand that monstering internet platforms about, you've got to do more to crack down on misinformation might actually chill free speech?
We should be scared about this legislation. We should be even more scared about that reaction. But mind you, I guess if you're the person who's in charge, if you're the boss, if you're the one that's going to decide what is true and what is not true, what can be said and what can't be said, maybe you don't care. So maybe that's where that reaction comes from. But it is quite extraordinary.
It's amazing.
I don't get it. I don't get it. What's free speech?
How could I be a danger to your free speech when my job is policing your free speech? I mean, seriously, Renee. I mean, maybe I'm trying to think of an excuse. No, I can't. I can't think of an excuse for it.
Well, laws like this are not a mark of a liberal democracy. That is the long and the short of it. And I think that is a very worrying reaction. And even in our recent history, we saw this play out in real time with COVID, where people were told, this is 100% true, this is accurate, and it was disseminated through the government. And then, further on down the track, we've heard that people that were called conspiracy theorists may have been correct in terms of the Wuhan leaks and things like that. And I also think that we're seeing it during the voice debate as well. If we say something, or if people say something that begins to confront the yes campaign, then all of a sudden it's like, well, that's misinformation. And look, I think we should be encouraging debate in every area, not stifling.
I think you're absolutely right. The best cure to bad speech is good speech, and a lot more of it. But maybe she's saying this. This law doesn't say that we can go in and say you got to remove that. That's not what it's about. What they're saying is the big internet companies, they've got to police free speech. But the point is, ACMA will be judging whether they do that successfully or not by the speech that they put on, which means a judgment on the post.
It's exactly what the legislation does. Exactly that. It says you've got to set this up yourself and govern yourself. But if you don't, we will then come in and govern you. We will decide what's right and what's wrong. I might say government agencies excluded. Government agencies are not included in this. The drafting of it is terrible. The drafting of it is all over the shop. I won't bother going into the detail of why it's poorly drafted. But even if it was drafted well, good drafting doesn't fix bad legislation, and this is bad legislation. The concept that we will try and whack-a-mole with conspiracy theorists, and and that they will somehow say, oh, well, the government have removed it. It must have been wrong. It'll be the exact
Correct.
opposite.
Yeah.
Because you won't be able to defend the statement they removed because you're
not allowed to talk about
misinformation
the
too.